These 10 people are constantly crying. He told me that he was only stuck in Thailand. But he didn't believe it and wanted to see for himself. I was worried about you, so I got in the car with you. If you think I just left, the 10-year-old disappeared. Tran Hung gave his hand to rub his head, comforting him that it was the Master VI's fault. When you need me the most, I can't help you. As a teacher, I really haven't done my duty. 10 virtues shake their heads. I don't understand, but you are also a coward. But the cool ones didn't come looking for me. Tran Hung saw this reproach form of the disciple. I feel even more guilty. He immediately handed the coroner something. 10 good jerks, shoot yourself. Master, what are you doing? I gave you a piece of wood. Take it. If you remember me later, use it to find me. But remember to always carry it with you. Don't let it out of your sight. Even if you don't understand the situation on your side. But it's possible to make Master Ra take that seriously. I guess you must have been caught up in the game too. Of the big characters. From here, your destiny is hard to control. But in exchange, before the big guys use us as chess pieces, our safety is still guaranteed. Even more so, Master Ra, I didn't even teach you how to break it. Or why practice it hard? There will be a chance to get out of jail. 10 good steady nods yes. Over here, the woodpeckers are still hiding behind the trees. I watched the 2 of them. Carp deep then. 10 good is a good child, a bad lie agreed. Yes, his master was also a good teacher. The dance on the tree also speaks. If the old master preacher, it can reappear in the human world. If the reason you are helping, it's because of something called the Big Bang, then let the capital collapse, is not more beneficial to the general public than Sao. These are his words to the king. The emperor bowed his head after listening, falling into contemplation for a while. At this time, 2 good teachers and 10 good teachers came. What are you talking about? He smiled. Let's see if we can find the traitor, or go back to Thailand. 10 good people in a hurry to give an opinion. Of course, we have to keep working. What do you do in Thailand? He also went to Tran Hung and said, I have paid off my debt to God. Tran Hung nodded. So, in a minute, follow me on a foreign trip. Carpentry, or what are you doing out there? Tran Hung explained. Pay the debt of gratitude to the great character to people. They said goodbye to the 10 good people. Wait for them to disappear. 10 good things to say out. Let's go too. He then put his hand to his mouth and whistled. Immediately, on the ground, I climbed up into a carriage driven by 3 Taurus sons. It's a drag waiting for everyone to come up. Car harmony again towards 10 goodness, said Ra. I'll drive you. Show me the way. 10 good nods take out his sound seal. The car immediately flew up into the air. To move the scene to a roadside pub somewhere. The remote executioners are sitting here right now. Make some iced tea, take a break from a distance, and follow the direction of the right request. I really don't understand. You said Dong Hoa, it will appear in Luoyang. Then why did Sao tell us to wait here? Smiling is very insightful. It's because the future has been changed. Hearing it from a distance is not enough. At this time, the Vietnamese Trach also spoke up. Stop talking and close the door. Up in the air, the car of the 10 good people. It's heading this way right now. Run 2. Very quickly, they landed outside the pub. The car just landed and 10 people jumped in. Only black on the sound press is pointing to the pub dispatch. I saw a bunch of dead people. I can't help but surprise you. Stupid chief and beggar talking all over the place. Why are you all here? Viet Trach angrily banged the table. You are a fucking devil. How can you be so rude? The end hasn't been said yet. He also smiled his hand. Hello, little brother, we meet again. Then they split up to tables. Talk to 10 people. Viet Trach exclaimed. You swore an oath to your master. I'll take the next 5 steps. I want to be Sao. Viet Trach sighed sadly. But the 5 elements are destroyed in my hands. The opposite table, after hearing Dong Hoa say, Gemini, SA, then excitedly banging the table screaming. What happened to Liu Yang? It's a serious face. Fortunately, there is Willow to one hand. Most of the people in the city were protected. Remote execution. Calm down again, and sit down and breathe out. Then there's luck. Peace continues. What about? If you have just spoken of principles, I am willing to help. But now, we have to help our ancestors replenish the ritual. Sound organ transmission is missing, and judge the traitors. I really don't have time. Remote expedited execution. The ritual can be done at other times. That, currently dealing with the ghost in the blood of hell. That's the top priority. At this time, the Lord speaks again. In fact, you don't have to be so hesitant. There's a whole way down here. If little brother Ten good, maybe interrogate and judge the most treacherous man in the world. In addition, there is a court that helps Alain transmit news. Then the role and legend of the 10 good brothers. So it's not that you will be free or Sao. Amazing harmony. Wait a minute, you know the location of the ghost. Move the scene to Hoa Hoa Temple in Kaifeng. This person is king, officials under the Lama Bar. He is responsible for documents related to destruction. He's yawning long and short because he's depressed. Then suddenly I realized something. At the next table, violent army. He was also a historical official under the Ladi Bar. This person is responsible. Check and record the process of destroying demons. He's taking notes. Then the king came to ask. So early came the strong storm arena smiling troops. This month, the reports of evil spirits from all over the world have increased. So we have to sort and examine it very carefully. If you don't get the wrong person to kill you, we've lost another political force. Yes, by continuing. This is not mandatory either. No matter how well we arrange the right people. In the end, it's only 7. Right now, there's some Lati Bar people coming in outside. Who is the strong army? You too are startled to see these people. Is the 12 most powerful military branches. Quiet face thinking. Arrived half a day earlier than expected. What a pity. We still have some unfinished business here. Although I'm very sorry, but he had no choice. I can only stand up. He was then transported to the land of Laos. After being photographed a few times to pass out, he was wearing a mask. Then pouring cold water to force him to wake up. I asked if you said no. Someone else reminded me. Take it easy. The emperor wants to come to the palace in a moment. If you make him die, then we can't afford this responsibility. Very quickly, he came from outside. How's the interrogation going? The two quickly went to the ceremony. They then took down their face masks. On the head of the mighty army. He was beaten up. He looked at Cao. He lamented. Indeed, your majesty, even if I don't use a tool, I will tell you. If you doubt it, be honest. Why did you secretly exchange letters? That the king sent to Liu Yang. Violent army smiling. Of course, it's because we want to save sentient beings. Tall, you wrinkled face. I have no time to joke with you. The king said he did not dare to lie to you. Actually, it's not just Liu Yang. Over the years, sound painting in Haonam area has silently protected and nurtured The seeds of calamity. It can threaten the mountain. Big Brother gritted his teeth. The reason Gao Gia. What did we do wrong? But was judged, which does not interfere with the change of the dynasty. Ever since, treated as such. Storm sighed. This is a long story. Compared to other thousand-year traditions, our line of judges is so small that must depend on dynasties to survive. But the great management lineage deals like us. There's one thing that the other traditions can't do. These are the historians of the past, present, and future, maybe through the whole history, to meet and communicate with each other, to change history. It's something that a lot of people have tried to modify since ancient Kim. But as long as the historical lineage is not extinct, then the coins in the past, distant and future, it's still possible to transmit accurate history through the whole history. It should have been highly suspicious, or should have been. The whole thing is, there's been a problem. The tension is worse than that. This time, the amendment is not a document. It's real history. The state should exist. It's been replaced by tons. Not just in the last 100 years. The history of the dynasty has been edited many times. If there is no record, then we don't realize at all that almost 200 years of history has been overthrown and recreated many times. And I can't imagine that some people can be free through time, not changing the past, present, and future. The more I hear about it, the more I'm scared. Wait a minute, you mean that the Big Bang shouldn't exist? The military confirms that, with the help of their elders, in the upper reaches of the river, time, we've corrected countless versions of history. We finally found out the birth of the great tons. It's the product of a distorted history. 3 forces are involved in this battle. Take the time axis as a battlefield, just aftershocks from their fights. It also made the trial became extremely chaotic. In their eyes is the past. The present and the future are just a picture. It can be painted at will. More desperate than when your father, that is, the previous life, decided to go to the battlefield and sacrifice with a sword. In the not-too-distant future, there will be more ghosts. In this world, we tried, but no matter how we avoid it, the future is desperate. In the end, I was still in the rough. Pull back to the original orbit. If you can't stop it, you can only give up. At least we can try. It's a very NDTO endgame for the world. The officer next to Gao was confused. But you weaken the power of the natives like that, depending on where you think it will end up. Violent army smiling. Based on what is not SAO. Weakened dynasty, intensified calamity. Through the creation ghost in Liu Yang. To give strength to the people in the city. The sky can't possibly reverse the situation. I asked again. But why is it so bad? I can do what we do. Brutal troops smiling to cut you off. Can't do it. Because the carpet was carried into the heavens by the emperor. The army has lost its most effective tool. When the ghosts come down, compared to the capital that is likely to have collapsed, the spring. Pressure and pressure hold both lack the potential to improve. Who can raise the power quickly? In a short time, well, it can only be bad. After talking to the mighty Song, Cao, I went back to my palace. He sat on the throne thinking. If you were a man, what would you do? Transferring scenes to the small celestial world 4.496. My uncle again. The emperor of this world. He is also sitting on the throne. Listen to the report. This person is the eunuch Dong Can. I've been to other worlds 3 times. Your Majesty, I have sent you to heaven. Use the world of the higher voices to contact 2.414. Then King Zhu sat on Yellow Mano for an hour. That means they're locked down. It's not that SAO collapsed. If we block 2.414 because of these systems, then we don't have to leave a gate. It can connect with the world. This means the work of the world. But why is this? 2.414, finally. What did you do? That's why the world has to be careful. When he thought about it, he asked, if you use the sky as a medium, the sound of our world, can you contact the prince of 2.414? Don Ken replied, maybe it's okay. Back to the world 2.414. The eunuch led him to Gao. Your Majesty, the police officer has something important. I want to tell you that I suspect, or what's important? This guy is a criminal. Your Majesty, the alien. It seems that it can be used again. I'm not surprised. What do you say? He was with two criminals. Quickly go to a vacation home somewhere. Outside the garden. The radio is on the table. Contact the other world. Very quickly, there was a sound inside. Do you know who blocked 2.414? Hi, I sighed. The emperor died in the Battle of Sa. My name is Gao. What are you? The Kia replied, the cause is Chu Di, Prince of the World for 1496. This call is between 4.496 and 2.414. A world apart. The transmission of information is very unstable. Please don't waste time into meaningless conversations. Hi, you nod. I know. Go ahead and ask again. Do you know that you are locked down? Tall, his face wrinkled, silently thinking. That's the first problem, after the two sexes restored communication. This king named Chu Di. It looks very important. The man behind the blockade of this world. Although we haven't yet figured out the cause. But it doesn't hinder us. Take it to your advantage, in exchange for aid. When he thought of it, he smiled and said, maybe you know. But in front of me, it doesn't matter anymore. Because in the not-too-distant future, I and my great army will fall into the hands of the undead. When I heard that, my face also cracked. If you don't see a rabbit, you don't let the falcon go. This young man is also active. As high as the sky. This time I will show respect for you. When he thought of this, he said, you have counted the foreign gods. Those who dominated the old Japanese and reincarnation. Have you invaded 2414? If there's someone inside that we've met before, maybe I can help a little. Hi, I sighed. There's no way to get statistics because there's always going to be 2414. It's really too much. And there's absolutely no sign of stopping. Chu, in the heart of amazement. This is impossible. Those activated religions are inherently in agreement with each other. If it's just a normal little world, there's no reason to be compromised by the number of activated leads, beyond its total number of leads. Unless 2.414 has something really important. Leading to the intense world, fight with those activated leads. He stood next to him and saw him sitting there. Speak up a reminder. Your Majesty, that is all right. If we continue, we will be discovered by the world. Chu nodded. The cause understands. He then quickly replied to Gao. Sorry, the call has reached its limit. The difficult situation of 2414 cause will think how to support. Please persevere for a while. He smiled and was very grateful. Communication between the two sides ended soon after. Chu to direct Don Can to delegate. Get in touch with the kings. And clean the room. I want to call a royal council. For the fourth time, I have no opinion. Hands very quickly. Inside the hall of Zhu Di, some other images have appeared. Western Han and the circulation of the small celestial world. 1130 laugh out loud. Your last name is Chu. Tell me when to strike back. The general below, Lao Tzu. He was so hungry for war that he could not control it. The doctor replied, leave your illness for a moment. This time I called you to do something else. High martial arts, 3 kingdoms, Liu equipment of the world 7712. Oh, up an hour. It's very interesting. What's more important? Perpetual conquest of the land. Like that, the people of the world of the small heavens. 8848 also spoke. If you are a master craftsman, that Chu is proud of. Research out engineering, the incarnation of the alien and the dominator. A former Japanese director, Sao. The first great god of the small celestial world. 9,996 words. Then it's worth having a meeting. Chu sighed. It's not. The reason for that is to see him faltering like that. Uncomfortable to speak up again. Mom, he's wasting Lao Tu's time again. Zhu instructed him to advise. You heard the man say it all. The discovery of a small world. God and God are watching them at the same time. People who hear that are amazed. Is it anything we've ever been in contact with? Chu nodded. The previous exposure was 2414. Where the great cataclysm struck. Sage King Gao prosperous one-hand construction. Move the scene to another B. The army is strong even though it is in heaven. But it can still go through the courts. Together with the money. I don't know how long. He just woke up again. There are still some variables though. But carving the Asian final. Still coming to this world. Next up is the power of muscle. Will be enhanced to an unprecedented degree. In the desert. Under the help of spring mechanical cinnamon. I'll probably get enough. Asian eyes fluttered through the buttocks earlier than. Last life, fighting in the desert. It can also end early. In order for IN to return the sword code back to the front. When the avatars of the Caliph fall. To bring the world down. Like that, high type also will not face the condition. There was no sword to hold, like a previous life. There is a sword of the high type of support. This world will be able to last a while. Waiting for the Qin army to arrive. It's a pity that Gao and Gao have rejected us. If not, just don't use the land. And the sword to deal with the foreign gods. Based on the fairies. The native must be. It can last a long time. But after the full effect of the sword was revealed, then things are different. The aliens treat insects, people who can threaten them, is completely different. Excessive resistance. It only takes time for this world to be destroyed. It's accelerated significantly. Turn the scene to Liu Yang. The rest of the crew is still in one place. Waiting for corn quail incomprehensible ask. At SAO 2.414 has been blocked and etched. You can still go there. He's probably hitting 1137 right now. It's where our ego is right now. The explanation is a detour. It's not difficult. The world has blocked 2414. But we can't manage this world order. So the carver can go back to its old drive first. Then through its incarnation, we've located our world. It's even more difficult to understand when listening to Korn. Reincarnation of Sao Li Dong continues to explain. It's the big buffalo used by the old man. That's 10 years old. It is the embodiment of the carving of the ha-ha-ha. This time, it's the unfathomable sand. If you knew how it came about. Why Sao didn't think of a way to stop its incarnation, get in touch with the body. Li Dong tightly gripped Han's face. The old man also wants to fight. And there's this giant monster. Metabolizes damage and provides energy. The old man's chance of victory. Definitely bigger than etching the top Asian. No matter what happens. The old man also has a way of removing carvings. So rest assured. While they talk on the middle. The clouds are slowly cracking right now. Inside the crack, quickly, there's a dazzling light. In the blink of an eye, inside the gap, there's a giant red eye. Cover the sky. The appearance of it immediately made the entire Yang tribe become murky. Like drowning in a sea of blood. Li Dong lifted his head and smiled. Here you are. The 10 virtues on one side of the face are also serious. Stupid face is quite tense. This is what drives our ego to its end. Star organ excited smile. Violent fake etching babes the Asian. Kier's eyes are getting bigger and bigger. Along with that is the entire city of Luoyang. There is no end to the terrible fire spreading. Yellow sand and tension. This kind of breathless sensation. It feels like the whole world is about to collapse. Even the king at that time. It's not that horrible. I can't help myself to sweat all the time. It's just a stare. It burned all of Luoyang and its surroundings. This type of opponent, even if you use only chewable chains, I'm afraid I can't stand it. For how long? The frequency in the back provokes a loud questioning. Not 10 Japanese. You are the power of this ghost. There are only 10 Japanese. Li Dong smiled, very excited. He equal to 0. How can I advise you to stay and help? And he just kept pressing the law enforcement arm. Tai Chang Tao esoteric head, Middle Lake Heaven. Soon after, he developed Ra. Ground. The city of Luoyang soon after was violently shaken. A whole city, burned by the fire of the devil. Right now, being lifted up by a giant earthen hand. I saw this move by Li Dong. The ghost is also a bit amazing. Cutting off space, to avoid the further land being burned by us. The guardian of this world also has a little bit of bravery. Come to the side of the suspect, or ask. Didn't I tell you to use the string? To avoid enemy attacks. Why do you use the middle of the sky at this time? What's in trouble is your hand. Li Dong is still very calm. You hold the spoon like an old man. You have to test the fire a little bit first. Next, it's a lot of work to bother you. Louis prison face open teeth cold plating. This can't be called a nuisance. While they talk, the ghost above is not playing. From within its eyes, quickly again, there is tremendous pressure hit down. People who see that are horrified. Still, Sao Louis nest no hesitation anymore. Immediately implement Ra just chained heaven chewable. The whole location, the ghost and the arm of Li Dong Kier. Quickly enveloped by her magic. Space is constantly being chewed. It makes twisting very unpredictable. The ghost was once again amazed. After dividing the space, then fold and expand the Sao space. Watch out, the natives of this world have a deep understanding of space. 10 people are also speaking out right now. It's our turn. When he finished speaking, open his mouth and spray his temples and feet on fire. Cormanus' arm on the side is similarly urging. The sun's feet were burning all over the body. Rival to such an existence. We can really win Sao. 10 good patting his shoulder assured. If you can win more, you have to win. Because we're here for this. I can see his determination and courage. I have no opinion. I understand. 2 whole bodies. The outside is covered with fiery temples. On the back, there are 2 wings. Condensed into both, and then it turns into 2 flying phoenixes. They flew through the clouds very quickly. Close to the giant eye of the sky. It is rude to pass without returning. Ghosts, taste it. The great power of this world. The fire of terror quickly directed the ghost's eyes to it. Copper is at the bottom. At this point, the sand is coming. If the old man remembers correctly, when the last master of the transfiguration, tone defect leg, provocation losing battle, once turned into a mountain. My dog god. Can you turn into that now? Stress yellow sand. Okay, but it's a mythical creature that devours the moon. It's hard to say we can copy parts. Don't you laugh? I have a gentleman to help you. It's not hard to recreate. When you hear that, you wake up. I don't blame you for needing me and staying behind. It turns out, he's fighting this idea. He doesn't hesitate anymore. Quickly clasped hands poetics. Okay, let's try it. Under the Thai translation of the shape of the 100 transformations, sky crane immediately appeared in front of the eyes of the people. Li Dong stroked his beard. It's actually a little lacking. He quickly waved his hand. Please come to help a friend. Turn your head in the cold and look very uncomfortable. Although unpleasant, but he had no other choice. They can only bite their teeth. Force from above. He quickly morphed into a coven. Join the sand. Li Dong is satisfied stroking his beard. The power is up. Help the old man tear some of his meat down. The old man has something to use. Kings are in a state. Real moon sky crane. It's also called the moon crane. Snarled back in obedience.